Hey guys, we're back with another episode of Magic the Gathering. Toops of the Shingstog and the Bodega and the wow!
Yeah.
It's become Dadaist now.
It is,
Like
yeah.
Some kind of weird performance artist. I think you said bodega in there also. Which
I might have said Belegda. Yeah.
Oh, Belegda. I heard bodega.
Yeah. Bodegas are great. I don't think they have bodegas in other states.
I only know
the
about
bodegas
them
only
from
exist in here.
Half Baked, which is apparently like it's the place you go that's a convenience store, but also they sell weed.
I only know them as a word.
Okay.
I know the word bodega, don't know what it means.
Well, see, but then also, okay, so a bodega is essentially a deli, and but it's run by Spanish people, and only Spanish people go there, and it has cheap stuff, and it's got a bunch of like really like super Spanish things in there. Like you'll have like Dominican products and stuff like that, and they sell 40s and stuff like that.
I think people might get mad at you for calling Dominican culture Spanish.
I mean, they speak Spanish.
They speak Spanish, but it's Latin.
All right, I only know what I heard in Half Baked. It's a movie with Jim Brewer in it, so
yeah.
I have nothing to add to this conversation. Let's rate.
They don't necessarily sell marijuana. I'm sure some do, but
I thought that was actually the defining characteristic of what made that word be what it is.
No,
it ain't be like it is, but it
But
do.
it do.
Yeah.
It do.
Oh, good. I got the fucking
This is
glitch where I
interesting.
can't click on anything.
Oh, fuck! Really? We had such a good opening. God damn it! I hate when that happens.
No, we're fine. Keep the episode going. Let's restart the game. We'll do it live. It's fine.
Well,
Concede.
I think-
Yes.
I don't think you can. Yeah, okay.
I've
okay.
conceded.
Since you don't have
all
to.
right.
Since it's not
I'll
Nick,
just make a new thing.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Oh, yeah. All right.
The game, so it's fine. We're good. Do it live.
All right. Fair enough. Fuck it.
This is what we
Magic
go
the
through
Gathering.
every other game.
It really is.
50,
Sorry,
at least 50% of the time.
yeah, it actually is about
50%
that.
Percent
Game
of the
is
time.
so fucking broken.
It doesn't work every time.
All right, ready up,
all right,
bitches.
let's do it.
That's good. I didn't like my hand.
I didn't either.
I wasn't sure if I might have liked mine a little.
Oh man.
All right.
CE. Oh, there we go. I can
Okay.
click now. Excellent.
I thought I had a new glitch I'd never seen before where everyone's portraits were black for a second, but no.
Where
it's sort of
everybody
that.
knows your name. This weird glitch.
Where everyone... That would be horrifying. You wake up one day, every person you talk to knows who you are for no reason,
Creepy.
and then you go to bed the next day, no one does. Not anyone. Not even people you've talked to before.
Very scary.
Some Twilight Zone shit
Scary
right
carry.
there.
But yeah,
That being a Twilight Zone episode.
Matt
So
Damon,
Bodega-
a Twilight Zone episode.
Bodega Deli. Now here's the thing. Do you guys know what a deli is? I think Nick probably does.
Yes, of
but
course
Austin,
everyone
do you know?
knows it.
Oh, okay.
Are you serious?
You don't think Austin
but
knows what a
Austin-
deli is?
No, Austin. Give me your definition of a deli then.
We don't we don't have like delis in the sense of they're just delis. The grocery stores just have deli sections, and entire like part of the store is a deli. So
See, exactly. This is what
But
I
I
mean,
could
Nick. The
have, like,
definition is different in other places of the world. A delicatessen in a
Okay.
supermarket in other states is where you get like cold cuts. A deli in New York, however, is an extremely different thing.
It's
a
a
deli in
boutique.
New York is it's more akin to a like what you would find at a gas station.
Yeah, they sell
in
car
something like
parts and
California or
oil
something like that.
and windshield wiper
Yeah.
fluid and new windshield wipers. No food,
Yeah,
though.
There's a bunch of stuff in a deli. Like there's like chips and 40s, and it's like a little convenience store.
all right.
That's what a deli is. So it's different in like most other states, or the other states that I've been to. People don't have a concept of like what a New York.
They
deli
probably don't really
is.
sell car parts. I'm just assuming Rob's headphones cut out while I said that.
They did, yes.
Okay,
they,
good.
they did in fact cut out. So I had no idea what you said.
Okay, but you agreed at the end, so you just made it seem like you heard me.
Yeah, that's
seamless.
what
I didn't even see what happened. Like
Yeah.
I was like, oh, so
It was
these
pretty
places sell
seamless.
those kinds of things, or Nick is being really sarcastic. I don't know because Rob agreed with
They'll
me.
sell you
Yeah.
they'll sell you other stuff like salads of various kinds, like potato
Yeah, I mean we have
salad.
like, I think it's called like what was it called, like Jameson Deli or something like
That's
that.
the alcohol, right?
Yeah, that's where they
Jenna
sell you
Jameson's Deli.
No, it's some kind of J word. It might just be James Deli, but it's more like a restaurant, like a sandwich place. And
James
also
Blunt's Deli and Bodega.
Well, delis
Boutique.
delis See, that's the thing. That's the part of a deli that makes it that makes it like the actual word, is that most delis, some not, but most delis in New York, like 98% of them have like a cold cuts section, and they can sell you cold cuts, and also they will make you sandwiches and stuff like that. So it does have characteristics of an every other state deli. But
Okay, so what about the New Delhi? I've heard about that before.
that is a city in India.
Okay.
Is that by Turkey?
I was hoping you'd roll with that instead of just explaining it, but
I have no idea. I actually could be completely wrong about where New Delhi is.
I actually don't know where Turkey is.
Does that seem to be near Hungary?
I'm hungry for Turkey.
Hungary,
Yeah, you go to the New Delhi.
Turkey is the eastern half of the
Dude,
Eastern Roman
I'm
Empire.
none of the shit I just said makes any sense geographically. I was just making those words fit together. That's all it was. I don't want you to think that I think that like New Delhi and Turkey and Hungary have anything to do with each other. In before they actually do, when I don't know anything.
That would be hilarious, actually.
Sorry.
If Northern Lion was here, he would know the capitals of all of them and where they
He
sit
would.
in the world
He
and what
was-
their biggest export is.
He was making I shit you not, he's been doing game development in Construct. He was making a like world capitals trivia game.
I hate that.
What was it called? Because he starts every game now with shitty something, so like shitty Jeopardy or something like that.
I don't know.
Goddamn.
But it's just like the ultimate like dad thing to do.
He's such a dad.
He really is a super dad.
I liked shitty Titan Souls. I hope he continues on that.
What is Shitty Titan Souls?
Well, it's a game that Ryan made. That's it's like Titan Souls but shitty. There's like 2 frames of animation, and you throw your sword, and then you have to go get it back, and then there's just waves of enemies that come in from all sides. He gave me monetization permission, but I haven't exploited it yet.
Oh, he should
that's
really
really
take
nice.
advantage of that.
Yeah, he might actually be trying to trick me and have all this shit in the Content ID system.
Oh no.
Yeah,
That would be
it would
crazy.
be a big dead end for me.
Get some money
Career-wise.
out of you. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how he finally figured out how to kill you
How
off.
to
Nick.
exploit my channel
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
after all these
After
years.
so many years.
just put a content ID match on his shitty Titan Souls.
Got him.
Got him.
Yeah.
Are you supposed to fist pump when you say got him? Because I feel like people do.
I don't know, man.
I don't think I do.
That would
Got 'em.
that would like imply that when you're saying got him, it's supposed to harken back to a time in which you fisted someone.
No, it's the opposite. It's you're releasing the fist out of the orifice.
Stop.
No, you raise it and then you come down, and the down is the impact of when you say the M. Got M.
I don't need this in my life, Nick.
Got them.
So
Bam.
when you go down, you should hear that thuk.
Stop.
You should hear that fuck.
You should hear that.
It's a thuk.
I see.
That's the air bubble releasing. Anyway, we can move on.
Yeah, I feel like we should move on.
I feel like we should move on.
I feel like we should move
.org.
on.
Thanks,
I
Obama.
feel like we should move on.
We should Google Bic.
Google Bic. All right.
You need a Bane Fire.
I'm gonna get rid of this.
So
thing.
what's new in the world of everything? Anything?
Sucking dicks, taking
Are you?
names.
Is that
yeah,
new though?
Sometimes.
Is that new though?
Sometimes they're new. You know?
New for me and you. Sorry.
I wonder if you could ever answer that question honestly, without just sucking dicks.
Taking names.
Would you take names and suck dick though?
Sometimes, yeah.
Sometimes.
I'd say so, yeah.
So like you suck their dick and then they're nameless. Like that person we described earlier, where everyone knows their name, then they wake up.
So at the end of that story, his dick gets sucked, basically.
Yeah, so he feels really
Basically,
satisfied
yeah.
when he wakes up, but then he's like, "Shit, I'm alone in the world."
Wow. It's a sad story.
It's better love story than Twilight, though.
Is
It
it?
really is actually.
Yeah, I'd say so.
The best part is when he fucks her so hard that the headboard breaks.
Does that you know what's funny, because you're the only one out of the three of us that's like watched all of the movies. So.
Yeah, because they're hilarious. They're so bad.
Wait. This actually happens?
That really happens.
that's
What,
that's
does she,
gotta
like,
hurt?
Did she like hit the back of it or
All right, so I can't comment on the specifics because they don't actually show them fucking, but what happens is they initiate, then we do sort of like a gentle pan away from the scene, and then obviously like through the dark, implying we go through the night, and then they show them in the morning, and the room looks like an actual tornado tore it apart. Like, there's bits of the bed all over the room, the back of the headboard splintered into pieces, and all I'm thinking is, what about her pelvis? Like, he pounded that bed so hard, her legs should be torn asunder.
Yeah.
She should just be dead, like, by all accounts.
Yeah, I don't get it. I do not get it.
And he's so virile that he got her pregnant in, like, 26 hours.
Well, I think any of us...
I'm sorry, what I mean by that is they have a baby within the week.
Oh, right. Yes, I forgot about that aspect of it. Yeah.
He's so virile that the cells multiply and divide to the point where there's an actual embryo that turns into a fetus within, the conversation that they have in the morning after they had sex.
Nah, but, like, you don't understand.
They love each other.
I don't
either, but I'm just saying you don't either, so...
That's a fair point, I hadn't really considered that.
Him fucking her so hard that the room is destroyed doesn't do it, but having the baby's actually the spawn of Satan, because it's a vampire, I guess, and it decides, like, when it's gonna be born, that it breaks her spine.
How, though?
It, like, karate chops her spine.
How does he get from...
And then he's gotta eat it out of her. I'm not kidding. These are scenes in this movie, and book, presumably, because I haven't read the book, but... He actually bites the thing out of her belly.
I think we talked about this very thing.
I know, but I just can't still wrap my mind around it.
Ow, did that hurt?
Yeah.
Why did you
some
do that?
Damage. Well, because you're just going to win now.
Stop it, though.
This dude's been alive for like 1 billion years, or I don't know, 1,000 years or something, and he's presumably had sex with people before, right? Because unless that's his first, that's a long time to wait. He probably understands how vampire sex works, so he knows this baby's going to karate chop her spine in half, and then he's going to have to eat it out of her. Mm-hmm. Is that really something you want to do to someone you care about?
Like, if it's in the womb, how did he get from the womb to the spine? There's some stuff in the way.
No,
like, there's a couple of things.
It's, like, not like that. Like, the baby can just kind of hit it.
But, like, it can't, though, because it's in the womb.
Well, I don't know. I mean, they didn't show what happens, but she's standing at one moment, and then her back caves in, and she falls over backward.
That's not good.
Right, and that's when he threw her on the bed, and then started just biting through her torso to get to the baby.
Look, this sounds really unrealistic. I don't know if I can accept it.
Look, Twilight's a serious, very romantic love story, and I just wanted you to understand the depths to which these two people love each other.
Weren't you guys saying that on Nick's comment section people were mad about cynicism?
I might have said that. Why?
Oh,
does that have a bearing on what I've just said?
Just the cynicism.
Are you saying I should be more embracing of the concepts of Twilight?
God, I hate your deck, Austin.
You're
at full health.
I'm not at... That is actually a lie.
That's actually false.
You have higher health than I do.
Well,
I have
that
full
is
health.
Understandable.
Is it?
Yeah, man. Look, you got the goblins. You do the speed thing. You can kill really fast, and you've done it a bunch of times, right? And you've won. I win differently, all right? I just stay alive, all right?
He wins differently.
I win differently. You know who doesn't win?
I won last time.
Did you win that? Oh, yeah, that's right. You did.
Actually.
Sorry.
That's because I just, like, swung super hard on Austin.
Maybe.
Although I got really close at the end, didn't it?
This isn't going to do a goddamn thing, but I'm going to do this anyway.
No, that actually does a lot.
That's a really big deal, actually, yeah.
You think?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is one of my important cards, man.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think so.
No. Okay.
You have more.
It is, like, crucial to his success.
I also don't have any land, though, so I lost. I want to go... I've been playing Hearthstone recently more. I want to go back and play that. You never don't have land in that.
That's true, yeah.
It's a much better system.
It's no big deal.
Yeah, I really wish that they would actually update Magic. I know. I understand that
It's like the nighttime we've talked about.
I know, but
I don't even want to go down this road.
I agree with it
know.
though. Like it's just like no. I want that
Before we
too.
worry about updating the systems of Magic, can we get a fucking video game that works properly?
That's fair, yeah.
Like 80%
That's
less
why they-
diamonds.
We were talking about Hex before the episode, and that was one thing that I just didn't understand, is that was one thing that they kept that is like a holdover from Magic. Like, I get all the other stuff, but, like, why keep the, that you have to draw lands?
I think
It's like
someone
not a-
told me in my chat actually that
balancing.
one day that in Magic in the professional tournaments there's multiple games per
Lands are banned.
lands are banned. You're not allowed to have any. That you get multiple, like it's a best of 3 or whatever, because sometimes you just top deck so hard that it's not even fair.
Yeah.
So it's like it's not. I'm not a fan.
I love that Rob thinks that doing that is going to somehow hurt Austin.
I mean, I lose though.
No, yeah, he's dead.
Yeah, no, somehow between his turn and my turn, you're going to pull out a full deck of stuff. I've seen you do it before.
Insane.
You guys over exaggerate. You do.
Well, at that
It's
point,
because
we're
losing
just...
to your deck is so annoying.
It's
That's
just
the
silly.
thing.
We're just laughing about it. It's not real.
Yeah, exactly.
Man, I take these games very not seriously. All right.
I don't blame you.
Oh no, you're an assassinator.
See, that
Why'd you
did
assassinate
some
me?
things that
That
helped
was so
me
rude.
a little bit.
Why'd you do that?
Do any of your other guys get anything? No, they're all just ones.
Yeah.
That rude?
It's a fairly rude sandstorm, yeah.
Yeah.
Can
It's not the nicest of sandstorms.
Do.
I lost, by the way.
Nah, probably. I mean, you could attack me with the.
Nah, probably.
I didn't actually realize I said
Nah, probably. You know.
that. Like, I think in the middle of me saying nah, my brain like unconsciously realized that you were probably gonna lose, so it
Probably.
just threw that in there. But I was trying to say you have a chance, but
This is not like me fighting Lasagna Monster.
let's not talk about Lasagna
I
Monster.
don't want it.
Why do you call Lasagna Monster?
Have you seen it?
No, yeah.
It looks like a pile of pasta covered in spaghetti sauce.
It's weird because there's another boss later in the game that I thought you meant, because that one actually looks more like pasta.
Oh my god, there's multiple lasagna monsters in this fucking
Yeah,
game?
no. Very soon you're gonna fight
Oh
another
my
boss
God.
that probably deserves to be called Lasagna Monster.
Just call
more.
it freaking Lasagna Born.
Pasta
Born.
Lasagna.
I want to play Lasagna Born. That sounds awesome.
Born of pasta and red sauce.
You only adopted the lasagna. I only saw the lasagna when I was already a man.
I love lasagna, actually.
It's very delicious.
I love homemade lasagna, though.
I was gonna say, I actually don't like lasagna
People
very
keep
much.
real mad at me in my chat because I said I didn't like lasagna. They're like, "Are you kidding me? Lasagna is the fucking
No,
godsend."
they have a
of-
right to say that.
I mean,
It's
like,
not great. Like, give me spaghetti any day.
here's
I mean,
the thing.
yeah,
If-
give me
if you
spaghetti.
have-
Of course, give
If
me
you have
spaghetti.
really good homemade lasagna, it's actually bomb as fuck.
It
But
is
like,
bomb
if you
as
get,
fuck.
but bad lasagna is honestly much more common, and it is kind of not appetizing in my opinion.
It's just like too much. Like I just want my pasta. I want my sauce. If you want to throw some, I actually don't like meatballs in my spaghetti. I just
What's
like
the
it nice.
matter with you? What are you talking
Oh well,
about?
you haven't had a real Italian meat sauce.
No, I have. I get a meat. I'm just not a meatball guy. I've had really good meatballs.
Who the
all right?
hell
My
isn't a
grandmother-
meatball guy?
Look. My grandmother has made some of the most amazing meatballs I've ever had. But at the end of the day,
What is her heritage?
Yeah, that's important. Is she Polish?
she's a grandma heritage. She automatically gets good cooking. I
Because
don't think
Polish or Italian, maybe Russian, you get good meatballs. What other ones
Yeah.
are there? There's like two more, right?
Swedish.
Swedish, yeah. Of course,
Swedish
Swedish.
meatballs
Why would
are
I not
bomb,
know
yeah.
that?
Swedish meatballs are actually really good.
But no. Okay, I can say they're good meatballs. All right.
Is she Swedish?
Okay, here's a question: how long did it take for her to
I don't fucking remember. This
to-
was like
to make the
6
sauce.
years ago. All right.
Because here's the thing: a real Italian meat sauce takes a whole day, if not 2 days, to make. And and then if you have that, it is the bombest shit the world's ever known.
Bomb as fuck.
It is bomb as fuck.
It is BAF.
BAFTA.
I lost.
That's the BAFTA award. You did lose, probably.
Bye,
Nah.
friends.
Dude, his creature flies though. I don't like that.
Yeah, but it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, but as soon as you get your whatever out, you're gonna put that on it. Your giant, your ogre vomit lava giant.
My ogre vomit.
Ogre vomit.
It's not I'm gonna be dead before then. Even if I get it next turn,
You'll see.
It doesn't matter.
You'll see.
I think I could die this turn actually, couldn't I?
No.
Unless he kills your flyer this turn. But even then, you're still fine.
Yeah.
Look, in the end,
It doesn't even matter.
no, it actually does.
I tried so hard
Did you?
and got so far,
I think you did.
but in the end, it
Wow.
didn't even matter. No, it's not good.
Wow. I swear to God, if you play two of them, though.
Oh, all right, GG.
All right, I didn't expect the double play. Is double kill.
I thought about just leaving it and letting it go, but like this is how you fuck up and lose. So
Yeah. No, yeah, I mean, you take the lethal. You know, that's the Hearthstone thing, right? Like you gotta take the lethal.
There's no. I don't mean to like disrespect you and toy with my prey. There's no reason to do that. Let's just fucking get it over with.
That's true. Yeah, no, that's fair. Yeah, I feel like I should adopt the old Nick strategy of like let someone else deal with Austin's deck.
I dealt with his deck and then you hit him.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, the one time, yeah.
I disabled his most powerful creature.
I was always that guy where I was the supporting cast member who like, oh, I'll disable this one guy while Nick swings at him, and then I'll get to hit Nick afterwards.
Hit Nick.
But the past couple of times, I've been actually getting goblins, which means I have to be offensive. So sometimes I get like, oh, here's 5 dragons in your hand. You know, if you can hold out until turn 10, you're pretty good.
I mean, I just lost like 20 times in a row until the last episode.
That's true.
So I don't want to hear it.
No, I'm not. I'm just saying that like I think my strategy in the future is gonna let someone else handle Austin's deck.
We'll see.
You get Bear in. Bear dealt with me pretty well.
Yeah, Bear
does,
is
yeah.
the wild card when he gets
when
involved.
he is actually the wild card, but also like when like 4-player Magic has a completely different like meta to it than 3-player Magic.
Yeah, it does.
It's
It takes
like
longer
much.
too.
It leads to a lot of Ohms races, really.
We're like bone races.
Heyo,
Yeah, they are a lot like
races
bone
with
races.
bones.
That's where
Yeah.
like a bunch of bros like try and get erections first. Is that the
Sorry,
idea?
I was gonna continue that joke, but I like hit one of those super yawns, or I could not like form. Hi.
No.
Kitty.
Hi there. Anyway, you guys want to talk about Nintendo? Because I fucking do.
Apparently you want to, so feel free to give us the lowdown on Nintendo Direct these days.
So, Nintendo Direct, right?
Start at the beginning.
The Nintendo Direct was on April 1st. I guess it makes sense now.
What is
why it was
Nintendo
on that
Direct,
day.
Austin?
Nintendo Direct is where Nintendo showcases what they've been working on and what's upcoming projects and games they have coming out. And it's usually, I mean, the past maybe like 3 have been questionable. They've been kind of.
So it's like a video they upload to the internet.
Yeah, they stream it on Twitch now. They have a big one for E3. It's all that.
I know
right?
what it is, by the way. I'm just saying this for devil's advocate.
Yeah, just so people who don't know. But yeah, the 3 before this last one, maybe the 2, were subpar, but they were still reasonable. They had some cool things in them, and they were good. But so we come on April 1st. We're here on April 1st. We're ready to watch Nintendo Direct. They say it's going to focus on Wii U and Nintendo 3DS. And
New 3DS.
New 3DS, not the old one.
Those are different. The
They're
old
different.
one can't run Isaac.
Right. And they start showing stuff. It started off all right. You know, they showed the 2 new Smash characters, right? Mewtwo and Lucas
Lucas?
from Mother 3.
Earthbound. Okay, right.
Earthbound series, right? He was in the other games. I don't know why he wasn't in this one, but they're putting him back in. Not
I thought
until
you were
like
trying to say Lucario, and I'm like, wait a minute. You didn't quite finish that word, and also, isn't he in it?
He is in it, yeah. But after that, you could have gotten up, gone and grabbed a snack or 40, and you
Taking
wouldn't have
a
missed.
shit?
Yeah, you wouldn't have missed anything at all. This Nintendo Direct was actually pointless. They showed. actually nothing. Like I usually they have one thing. At the very least, they'll have one thing to show.
So it was a black screen for like 20 minutes?
It was a black... that they could have done that, and they would have showed more
actually
than what
nothing.
They showed. Actually nothing.
For what? Sorry, I was reading comments. What were you guys just talking about specifically?
Direct.
Well, I know, but which specific game that they showed nothing?
They showed nothing. That's
the whole thing.
Oh, just in general. Oh yeah. Well, yeah, no, the entire thing, yeah, is just them not showing.
So it wasn't actually a black screen. Apparently, it was like Splatoon, probably mostly.
So that's the Splatoon. All right, that looks good. We've seen it like in 4 Nintendo Directs now. We've seen it everywhere. We've seen so much of it. I don't even count it anymore because of how much we've seen it. Really, they're just showing, hey, this game still exists. Buy it when it comes out. All right, cool. The same thing with Yoshi's Woolly World. Game looks fine, but this is the 3rd or 4th time we've seen it now. Might actually only be the 2nd. I don't remember if it was in 1 or I think it's the 3rd time we've seen it in a direct. But again, we know it's coming. We know exactly what that game is going to be. It's going to be a great 2D platformer. That's all it's going to be, though. All right, we understand.
Right. Didn't they also make Bejeweled?
Oh yes, they showed for 10 minutes. And for 10 minutes, they talked about this fucking puzzle game, which is literally just Bejeweled.
It's like a match 3 puzzle game, apparently.
It's just you match pretty colors, and then shit happens.
I think the other aspect of it though is that it's like sort of like that. It's sort of like a couple of these games that have been coming out, which I don't understand, to be honest with you. But maybe it's just because I don't really like the match 3 genre.
Is it also an RPG?
Yeah.
I kind of have a soft spot for those, actually.
I don't like those at all.
Although I think at this point
it's
a bit too much, the amount of them that have existed.
Let's just have an RPG. Like, why?
Well, it's kind of a unique way to do a battle mechanic, right? Because it's like a puzzle game built onto a thing that keeps you coming back to it. That's like quick and
but there's
playable.
puzzle games that are better than that game, and RPGs that are better than that game.
Well, and there's versions of that actual game that are better than that game, most likely.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing is that they showed.
I mean,
two
I don't know.
versions.
I haven't played it, but
one is I think like a dragon, some shit puzzle dragon, and the other one is a Mario version of it, of course.
That's
but
weird.
The reality is, okay, if they want to talk about it, that's fine. But they just showed it for like 10 minutes. They wasted 10 minutes of this Nintendo Direct to talk about this game that is so nobody cares. Nobody cares. People are going to be in the comments telling me they care. You don't care, trust me. I know. And so we've had this Nintendo Direct. It's nearing the end now, and we've heard of no new games, 0 new games. There was some,
but there's Star Fox, right?
Supposedly, that's what everyone was expecting it, right? Everyone and their mothers was expecting Star Fox at the end of this thing, and it would have been great if they.
That's why I watched it.
Right, I was waiting for the Star Fox.
Miyamoto smeared Vaseline all over his computer monitor that day, so he could not show us Star Fox. So this is when he's going to take the Vaseline off, right? Right, Austin?
Right.
Probably.
Smear it off.
So we transition into their final game, and we don't believe them, right? Because 1, it's April Fool's, and 2, why would they end on this game?
Encore.
Right. So they
Nintendo's
say that Mario Kart 8 is their final game they're going to talk about, and immediately we're like, no, there's no way. There's going to be one more thing. We all know it, Nintendo. You've done this before. And so they talking about the new Mario Kart DLC. You get new shit for your dudes. There's a new race, whatever, right? Why are you talking about this?
What? Wait, no. What is happening? I want to know.
There's a new track, I think.
Whoa!
I think it's an Animal Crossing track, and there's new.
All right, that's actually all right.
You can make some dudes.
Do I have to pay for it?
I don't know, actually.
If I could just download it, that's pretty sweet. I wouldn't mind an Animal Crossing track.
But anyway, it's DLC. It's Mario Kart 8 DLC, whatever. And so he's like kind of sort of signing up, but he's like, no, I got one more thing to show you, and everyone's like, oh, here it is. This is the thing. This is the one. We knew it all along. Here it is. Star Fox. Probably. Hopefully. Please.
They're making another Zelda.
Right. This is Zelda.
Another Zelda.
Another one. Oh God. It's what we've always wanted. And they play this video. Actually, they spoil it immediately. They say it's another thing from Mario Kart 8. So immediately, just spirits are disheveled and destroyed, and all the sadness reigns throughout the planet. As people realize that this Nintendo Direct is nothing. But we have to sit through this final whatever it is for Mario Kart 8. It's 200 cc. You go a little faster.
We made the game slightly faster, boys.
All right, well, it worked for Street Fighter. If you remember, Street Fighter 2 came out, and then Street Fighter 2 Turbo Edition came out, and its central tenet was that the game was slightly faster, but also they added the bosses as playable characters, so that was kind of something.
Also, though, I mean, like, Melee, a lot of people don't like Brawl, and well, I don't know how people feel about Smash 4 as a competitive.
Smash 4 is better than Brawl, but not as good as Melee, I think was the consensus.
Well, so Melee is just a lot faster. Well, Melee is a lot faster and a lot less floaty than Brawl. Brawl was like slowed down so that a casual player would have more fun with it rather than the hardcore, faster, play of Melee. And that's why people still play Melee over Brawl,
right?
And stuff is because it's just faster and it's just better in that way. But yeah, so yeah, speed, okay, yeah, fair enough. But I mean, that's like, I don't know, man. Nintendo doesn't support esports anyway, so like, although actually, I will say that while I did just say that Nintendo doesn't support esports, they have been changing to be better about that, which I appreciate.
Yeah, they are slightly. They're kind of getting their feet.
They've been running their own tournaments and stuff. And like actually putting money, well, yeah, but no, but they do actually Pokemon tournaments as well.
Oh,
they've
they?
Been doing that for a while, and they put their own money behind it and have prize money and all that, and so they have been a little bit better about.
They're sponsoring Evo again, so that's good.
So they're getting towards some. I don't know. Maybe Nintendo will start.
What does this have to do with what we're just talking about with the engine being faster?
Well, we were talking about. I just said that Nintendo doesn't sponsor. No,
the connection between esports and faster games, I don't exactly understand.
Well, because you would. Okay, so like 200cc is going to have a higher skill ceiling, right? I mean, that's just generally.
Yes, sure.
That will be the that's
the racing is really the problem that they're trying to get over, because I thought it was more about shooting items at each other than the actual racing. The racing just happens.
Well, no, not so much. I mean, like, you can watch lots of videos on YouTube where it's people perfecting tracks,
right?
Where you get the literally the best possible time by hitting every turn at the exact like point that you're supposed to hit it. Yeah, the most optimal.
If you're playing fucking Forza Motorsport and Mario Kart.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, like, a faster experience would lead to a higher skill floor and, in theory, a higher skill ceiling, which in turn would mean that maybe they're supporting more competitive play. Right. I mean, that's why else would you add 200C? Like, why would any
because of the rush
casual person care about 200cc
you can watch,
if it's not for the competitive aspect?
You watch the stands go by as you drive very speedily down the track, and that gives you an adrenaline rush, and the endorphins just feel fantastic, and Nintendo encourages that.
It could be that, but I think it's probably to support a competitive community or people who want to get behind the game in a competitive community. And if they do support
can you play as Sonic?
I don't think
you know what's interesting? I can't confirm this, but I think the guy who was announcing the video for it was a Sonic voice actor. Or
all right, now I'm starting to put it all together.
Or I'm fucking insane, but it sounded to me like the guy announcing the video for 200cc was the voice actor of Sonic. I could be totally wrong, but he sounded almost exactly like him.
Should get him to say, "Welcome to Brawlhalla."
Welcome to Brawlhalla.
Welcome to Brawlhalla.
I don't get this joke.
That shit never gets old.
Brawlhalla is actually really fun, but
raise your T-Tours.
Yeah, no. Yeah, okay. Like, I'm fine with the not showing of the Zelda. Like I said in the last episode, I'm not surprised by that. In fact, I'm happy that they have finally removed the farce and said that, yeah, this game's nowhere near finished. We need to work on it longer. Okay? Yeah, cool. I'm happy with that. My fear, though, is what's going on with Star Fox. Because okay, like, they showed us Zelda last E3, and when me and Nick dissected the footage, it wasn't a game. It was literally just like they had some character models and preliminary assets, and that's it. Like, it was all skybox and pre-rendered cutscene. So there's no game. There wasn't any game there yet, but they still showed that. which to a lesser degree is actually unlike Nintendo, I think, in a lot of ways, because they usually don't show games that don't appear to be a finished product. They don't show pre-alpha very often. Although they did show that one video with Link riding the horse, and that was like super pre-alpha too.
Dude, I thought Skyward Sword did the same thing.
You know,
Skyward Sword? I don't remember. I don't think we ever saw anything.
I thought they showed footage, and they were trying to waggle, and he was like, "This doesn't work," in front of everyone.
They showed a little bit of stuff. Yeah,
I think the first thing of Skyward Sword was the trailer. It was the E3 trailer, and that was the game. Like there was things from the game in that trailer for sure.
But Star Fox though, they haven't showed anything. Like not even a screen, not even like a poster.
They showed an implied screen.
Nothing.
The Vaseline screen.
Yeah, they showed him playing a screen that was very blurry, and that's cool, right? Because he's probably playing Star Fox.
I mean, I'm sure he is, but my question is, I'm sure that I'm sure that the game is in development because they said it's in development, so I'm sure that they're actually making it. My concern is, how far along actually is Star Fox? Because he also said that it's supposed to come out before Zelda in 2015. We still haven't seen anything, and like we're getting to the point where they were supposed to be showing off Zelda. I think at this point,
if they ever had an original like release schedule, I think Zelda was going to be like a holiday release, and Star Fox is going to be like a fall release, probably. That's my guess. They would show Star Fox at E3, and then they'd be coming out. And
that's probably true. Actually, they wouldn't spoil it. They'd wait until E3.
I missed what you said.
Oh,
I was just waiting until E3. Yeah, it could be. It totally could be. And that's what I was saying. Is that like if it's in like super I think it's out of character for Nintendo to show such a like pre-alpha thing like Zelda that they showed last E3. Like it is sort of out of character for them. They've done it over the years from time to time, but for the most part they don't do it. So like maybe they are waiting till E3 to show something for Star Fox, which makes sense. But
why would they even do the Nintendo Direct now? What's the advantage?
They do them throughout the year a lot of the time. I think honestly like that one was specifically just to generate hype for some things like Splatoon that's supposed to be coming out. And then the puzzle world, and then I don't know, they had something else. Oh, they had the Dynasty, well no, was it Dynasty Warriors? It was some crossover between Fire Emblem and Shin Megami Tensei. That's it.
Oh, the super anime thing. I just want to say they did a poor job on the anime transition there. All right, you cannot go full anime in like one frame to another. I couldn't handle it. It was just it was like black screen and then suddenly Japanese pop rock blaring like unit robot. I was just like, what is happening?
Yeah, it was.
They animate too hard.
And then. I actually made fun of this, but people were really pumped about it. But I was making fun of this in my Twitch chat because I hosted the Nintendo Direct when it came on, and like they had a transformation for one of the characters. Like one of the characters, it was like this, this girl in like a schoolgirl outfit or something, and she had like fire around her, and she was like, about to fight some demon or something, and then like it gets shiny around her, and then you see her silhouette, and she transforms. You know what her transformation is? She takes off her clothes. She's in her bra and panties. That's her transformation.
Really
like it was just like,
weird.
Man. This is one of the reasons that I just can't get into anime. And hey, I'm not saying anime is bad and people shouldn't like it. I'm just saying I personally it's things like that kind of keep me away.
What was the relevance of that? Because they're obviously trying to pay homage to Sailor Moon or like Cardcaptor Sakura, which is paying reference to Sailor Moon. So like, what are they trying to get by making it weird?
I don't know.
I don't know. I actually don't even know what game that is, to be honest. It was just like an anime. It was an anime.
I don't either, actually.
I don't even know what was happening.
I don't know what Shin Megami Tensei is. I've heard of it, but I don't know what type of game it is.
It's a really solid RPG. There's actually a lot of entries in the series. It started back in like the SNES era.
So it's like a JRPG type of thing?
Yeah.
Okay, so that must be what it is. It's probably Shin Megami Tensei with Fire Emblem characters.
That doesn't sound like them to do a transformation type thing. Like, they do generally pretty macabre stuff. And usually pretty stylish stuff. They wouldn't probably go in that direction, I don't think.
I will say, before people get mad and say in the comments that we didn't mention this, the Nintendo Direct did show off more of the new Fire Emblem game, but Fire Emblem's such a niche game. Like,
I never played it.
Yeah, I don't think any of us have played it. I don't really know.
I haven't played it, but I heard that it was very good, and
Apparently,
I've
it's
heard that I
good,
would like it because I like
and
tactics games.
Zen plays it, I believe. Or
Yes,
it might
yeah,
be.
he
Sorry.
swears by it. He really loves Zen. No, both of them play it.
Both of them play it. All right. Well,
Yeah.
yeah. I don't know. I just that they also had already announced that the last Nintendo Direct as well, so it wasn't like a new announcement.
People are hyped for that, and I totally get that. And people also levied the criticism that like they showed off a bunch of games, they just didn't show any games that you wanted to see. And it's like, well, I mean, yes and no, because I don't know. Is that really what I'm to expect of Nintendo now? Like like I'm not gonna get their first party stuff. I'm gonna get like a bunch of anime games. Is that what the Nintendo consoles are gonna be? Because if that's the case, then yeah, they didn't show anything that I wanted to see, and I don't really want to see any more. If that's how the companies, if that's the direction that they're heading in, if that's their third party, which is just a bunch of like JRPGs and anime games, then that's not my thing. And that's not why I attached myself to Nintendo at such a young age. It wasn't because of like, a bunch of anime games or like JRPGs.
Nintendo was surprisingly not Japanese at the time. A lot of the games.
I don't understand why we're putting so much weight on this Nintendo Direct conference when E3 is less than 2 months away. They're not going to make that big of an announcement there.
Yeah,
what they
that's
usually
true,
do is the thing. Like Nintendo Directs usually have at least, like I said, at least one announcement at the very least.
Yeah.
Last year, the last one I think it was Fire Emblem was their big announcement.
I was at least expecting Star Fox. I was even hopeful in saying like, "Oh, could this be? Are they doing this to show F-Zero or something? Are they gonna make a new F-Zero?" And no, hopes were dashed.
Well, we'll see. I think Nintendo they better have an E3 with a lot of E and a lot of 3. I'm just gonna say because they have this whole year ahead of them, and there is nothing remotely exciting for all. Like there's just nothing huge coming out. Everything is either medium or small on the scale of Nintendo games that's coming out.
Yeah, and also I just don't get excited about handheld titles.
Oh no, me not at all. But I don't say that because I know a lot of people do. But I really hate handhelds. I don't like playing games on handhelds.
I agree.
And that's sort of worries. I feel like a lot of these handheldy type games are kind of slipping into the Wii U lineup too. And it's I don't stop it now. It's the opportunity thing, right? Like Nintendo makes very fun, very well made, very well designed games. I'm not arguing that they don't, but they put all that effort into games that have such a low ceiling on how exciting they can be or how fun they could be. Like 2D platformers, for example, was the best example. You can only get so much out of a 2D platformer. I mean, it can be really good, really fun, but you have a ceiling on how fun that can be and how much you can play a game like that.
What?
Yeah. I mean...
No.
Yes. The 3D game has a higher limit in every way.
You know how many hours I've played Super Meat Boy?
Well, I don't say it can't. I'm just...
I thought you literally just said that.
No, that's not...
You said it has a limit on how fun it can be. Come on.
Maybe fun's the wrong word. All right. I guess... on how big the game can be. How about that?
Nah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nah.
When you do a platformer, unless it's like a Metroidvania, it doesn't have a lot of scope. It's a linear, well, mostly linear at least.
You're gonna be, running, jumping.
Hit this level, hit this level, hit this level, win the game. And yeah, there's a difference between that and like Super Mario 64, which isn't exactly hit this level, hit this level, hit this level, win the game. You have at least a little bit of autonomy in objectives and set decisions of what you want to do, what level you want to go to, stuff like that.
Like you have I'm gonna say immediately this is an unfair comparison because it is. This is not a good comparison, but I can't think of a game that's more fair right now. But like just look at something like Skyrim, right? Like how much is in that game just comparatively to a 2D platformer?
Now, all right, how much is in this fucking game, Pillars of Eternity?
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't seen that.
That game is too dense.
I gotta stop you right there. That whole argument doesn't make any damn sense. It doesn't matter if the game's 2D or 3D. It's just a subjective thing whether or not you like that type of game.
I mean, it's easy. But it's harder to be non-linear in a 2D platformer, though, right? I mean, you would agree with that.
Not necessarily. Depends how it's structured.
Well, like,
you can have a hub world just the same way that you can have a hub world in Super Mario 64, and it leads to a bunch of different levels. Just because they're side-scrolling doesn't mean they can't still have depth.
But what game has done that recently? Or
I don't know, but there's a lot of them. They're out there.
I don't know. Like, Nintendo platformers? I don't think I've ever seen anything like that.
Well, I'm looking at the scope of all games, not just Nintendo platformers. Actually, I mean, Super Mario World does that.
No, it doesn't. It's that game is pretty much entirely linear. I mean, yes, there are branching paths, and yes, there are warp tunnels that you can go through.
There are secret areas. There's a fucking celestial star world. There's
sure, but it's still like it's still like you have to progress through X to get to Y kind of thing.
And you do that in Super Mario 64 as well.
My headphones are dead, so.
You do that in Super Mario 64 as well. You have to progress through a linear path of them. There's just options.
Well, no, you don't. There's options. Sure. It is like superficial autonomy, but in the same way that's a video game.
I don't understand how you don't see that they're the same thing.
They're not. I mean, so if you played through Skyrim and you played through Resident Evil, sure, they're basically the same thing in that you can play through the story linearly and not branch out and do your own thing if you wanted to. But Skyrim gives you the options to run out and do whatever you want to do. What you can set your own objectives, as opposed to Resident Evil, where it's move from A to B. You know what I mean? Like
you can't set your own objectives in Mario 64.
Yeah, you can though. Like
you can go find a certain star to get your number up, because that's the lock and key mechanism that allows you to go to new areas. Those keys are required in a very linear fashion.
Well, okay, yes, but you still set, like, when you unlock a door in Mario 64, you unlock like 3 or 4 doors with 3 or 4 different levels with like 5 or 6 different quests that are specific to those levels. And you don't need to, you could get all of the stars to the next juncture, like, mostly throughout the game, like, especially if you're not doing like 120 stars, you could do that by playing one level or playing different quests that you like on other levels and stuff. You have your own option. Whereas you say in like, you look at like Super Mario World, okay, you have the option sometimes to choose this shortcut, which still leads you back onto the same linear path for the most part. Like, there's the Star World or Starland or whatever, and then, you have things like the Illusionary Forest, which is different, but for the most part, it's still just a linear, like, you still go on this one rail to it. And yes, I understand that is in Super Mario 64, it's superficial, in that, yes, you are basically still on that same rail, but you can choose your own objectives as to which things you want to do to progress through the game.
Alright, so by that same argument, then, Super Metroid and Link to the Past are both the same thing as Super Mario 64. They still have the same lock and key mechanisms, they still have the same linear but not, gated but not necessarily open freeform exploration.
Well, yeah, I would say that's true for Zelda, maybe, especially the older ones. But I don't know. I like,
finding power missiles and finding bombs are the same thing essentially. Like, they open up a whole series of different areas.
Yeah, no, I get that. And then, but you could look at, okay, so like Zelda, there's even in like Link to the Past, there's a bunch of items that you can get that are off the track that
yeah, you can get the X-ray scope in Metroid completely vestigial, no point necessarily. You don't have to have it.
And also in Zelda, in the older ones, you could kind of complete a lot of the dungeons in your whenever when you choose. Some of them are like, you can open them at different, when the game doesn't want you to necessarily. And in fact, they have said that the new Zelda is going to be that way, right? They said that the temples are going to be, you can go in whenever you want and tackle the dungeon, which is pretty cool. But yeah, I mean it's still less linear. Yes, it is fundamentally linear, but it's less linear than something like a Super Mario World, or a lot of other regular 2D platformers where you go through the worlds and stuff. It's still getting from point A to point B in both types of games, but
I just don't think it's good to group them all together that way. That's all.
What, 2D platformers?
To say that all 2D platformers lack in scope compared to 3D games, I find that to be just not correct.
I don't think that's not the argument, though. I don't think they lack in scope. Rather, they just have a limit to their scope, and them hitting their limit is good. I'm not saying these games are bad in any way at all. In fact, games like Super Meat Boy, Super Metroid are nearly perfect games. There's something about going into this massive open world, this 3D world where you have full 360 degrees to just go and explore things, as opposed to going left and right and up and down. There's just a difference to that, I think,
it's just
fundamentally.
A personal preference. You're saying it like there's a right and a wrong to this.
I just think you get, I don't know. I'm having trouble phrasing.
What exactly is at the base of that argument that you feel satiated by, that makes you feel that that's the right answer for you? Is it the detail? Is it the ability, the granular ability to look around at things in a one-to-one degree?
Yeah, I think it's just all of that. All of that, and the whole game is.
I think you should more say that it tends to be.
Well, right, I think that goes without saying. Because yes, there's plenty of 2D games that the scope is higher than the 3D games. That's for sure. Like Super Metroid is going to be better than almost all of the 3D games out there because of how great of a game it is. But in the end, this gets too close to the argument about what's better: Ocarina of Time, Link to the Past, Super Mario 64, Super Mario World, Super Metroid, Metroid Prime. Like, I don't want to get close to that argument because that.
But what does that argument have to do with the engine being rendered in 2D or 3D? It doesn't have anything to do with that. That's just the way you end up looking at it through as a single talking point.
Well, no, I think essentially what he's trying to say is that, for the most part, especially the stuff that's been coming out recently and the 2D platformers that Nintendo has been making, and just the 2D platformers that have been made, it's set piece to set piece for the most part.
Right.
Like that's and whereas they don't tend to stray from that formula, whereas in the past, at least, they have strayed from lots of formulas and they've met with a good deal of success in that way.
I'm certainly not going to argue with that point. Sure.
Yeah. And I think that's more or less what he's trying to say, in that, like, I think at the heart of all of this, it just feels like when they come out with these 2D platformers, it feels like they're being very conservative, right. And they're just being safe. Like, hey, we know that this works. We're not going to alter the formula. We're just going to do the same thing, except we're going to make all the parts of what makes it good cooler, and that's fine. But it's not ambitious,
right? Like, I think if we compare, if Nintendo made a new Super Mario Brothers 2D platformer, like new Super Mario Brothers Wii U 2, I don't fucking know, but a new one of those, at the best of their ability to make that game good, and they also made at the same time a new Super Mario Galaxy game, to the best of their ability with everything that they can do. The Galaxy game, if both games are made to the same level, the Galaxy game will just inherently be better than the new Super Mario Brothers, even though they're the same idea.
I hate that we're talking about the realm of all game design through the filter of Nintendo, because I don't look at them as any kind of inspiring anything when it comes to game design anymore. I generally see them as just bland and treading water. So,
well, I think that's what I was saying. I think that's at the heart of his argument, is that
right. But to say it about all games,
they tend to make it. No, well, yeah.
That's how I heard it, is all games, and I didn't like that because I don't agree with that.
I guess I'm just talking about in that specific scenario where you have the maximum of both mediums, the best effort into both mediums.
By Nintendo.
I don't know. I mean,
that's important to me, whether it's by Nintendo or in general.
If we're talking about genre, though, there is a limitation to each genre, and I think that's fair to say.
There's pros and cons to everything, yeah, but I don't think one's objectively better than another.
Yeah, I would agree with that sentiment as well. But yeah, I think it's fair to say that there are limitations to a genre. I mean, like, you can only do so much with a pure platformer.
Why does it have to be a pure platformer, though? That's the thing.
Well, that's what I'm saying, is that, like, you can only do so much with a pure platformer. Things that you can do to shake up your platformer is add elements of other genres, and that's something that has been happening in video games for, like, the last 10 years, is, like, games aren't just a pure X. They're a thing with elements of this and this and this.
And I think even Nintendo has blended genres together. I mean, as you referenced, the freaking Match 3 game is also an RPG. Right?
Yeah, and you can look at Super Mario 3D Land too. That's another one where they've, like, hey, here's a 2D platformer, sort of, but it's also a 3D Mario game, and that's cool. And I heard that was good.
It was very good.
Played it. Yeah,
it was very good.
But yeah, I mean, but there are limitations to a pure platformer, and there's a limitation to, like, a pure first-person shooter. I think a lot of people see that in the Call of Duty franchise, and that's why people
no, that's a hybrid too. Call of Duty's also an RPG.
Well, it became a hybrid, yes, but they're, like, it's telling that the series turned into a hybrid RPG, especially though if you look at the linear story isn't a hybrid. The multiplayer is, but the I mean, I don't know. I don't know about the newest
stuff, I think, still, don't you?
In the newest ones, maybe, yeah. I haven't played the
pretty
newest
sure
ones,
you do.
but yeah, I'm okay. Maybe you do in the newest ones, but it's stuff like
I don't know either, I guess.
yeah, but in like Call of Duty or even up to, like, Black Ops, it was just a linear story where you go through, like, the old school, and it's fine, it's fun, but there's limitations to it as well, where it's, you know, you're moving set piece to set piece in a linear pure FPS, you know, and it does feel, and I actually agree with Austin in that it does feel like Nintendo's playing very conservative with their titles. Like, even Yoshi, the Yoshi's Woolly World thing. Like, okay, I like it. You know, you're going to make a new Super Mario World 2. I really loved Super Mario World 2. It was a really cool departure from your traditional Mario platformer. It was like, it had a bunch of interesting new mechanics that are weird and took elements from other things, and cool. But I wanted that game like 20 years ago. And if your idea of innovation is to, instead of make the characters 3D or 2D pixel art, is to turn them into wool instead and make it kind of look like what is it called? Stop capture, whatever.
Stop motion capture.
Stop motion. Yeah, make it look like a stop motion. And that's your innovative principle on the new game. Then I don't know. It's kind of just too conservative for me to be super excited about.
I think
it looks good, but it looks like a game I've already played.
The ethos that they've probably landed on after years of consideration is probably something to the effect of, well, there's always going to be new genres of the 80s kids that we built our franchises on, so why not keep feeding them the shit that got the original people invested? Because mathematically, that will also pay out equally.
Yeah, and it will.
Unfortunately, that's at the expense of the people who have been around through it all.
Yeah.
I guess they're not catering to us.
Yeah. No, they're not.
I guess my original argument then probably applies much more to Nintendo specifically than in other situations.
Yeah, I never didn't agree with you as long as we were talking about just Nintendo.
Yeah,
I missed all of that because of the
we were just kind of agreeing, I think.
Yeah. Because I mean, like, if you did, so, like, imagine Bastion was a platformer. If you did that instead of the way that you move through levels in Bastion, as opposed to the way that you move through levels in something like New Super Mario Brothers, then yes, it's superficial, but it would give the player the feeling of autonomy. I mean, hey, Star Fox, that's actually a good circling point. Star Fox is, like, super linear. It is on rail. It's like the gameplay even is on rails, right? But it feels like you have autonomy because you choose your path,
I
And
don't
that's
feel like I
really
have much
fun.
autonomy at all.
Well, you feel like you have more autonomy than you did at least in Star Fox Assault, which is one of the main problems of that game, is that it's just completely linear. Like there's nothing for you to be able to branch out and do your own thing.
I don't think you need autonomy in a Star Fox game. It's a rail shooter with a couple of options.
Well, but you need a couple of options.
Fun.
Star Fox Assault was not fun. I don't know if you
No,
ever played
I'm not
that,
talking about Star Fox Assault. I mean, just in general, that genre of games doesn't necessarily require much branching out. I mean, look how many Gradius games and R-Type games have been made. They still hold up.
Yeah, but they're their own thing, and also it is basically a different genre. But
side-scrolling versus behind, whatever.
Yeah, you know, there is a difference, but Star Fox though, I mean, Assault took away the options, and that was not fun, and even the options, while superficial and while also at the same time not like super groundbreaking in that it gave you like the greatest autonomy in the world, like you were still on rails, it was still something that made me go back and play the game, and still I go back and play Star Fox 64 today. I've gone back several times and just done a run. You can complete a Star Fox 64 run in about an hour. It's like a roguelike in that way. And that's fun. That is what makes Star Fox fun. And they lost that when they decided to add in just a bunch of these weird cutscenes, and it's about like these Fox anthropomorphic characters, and it's like a linear story where the alien, like, I don't care. I just want Star Fox. You know?
Cut to the chase, get back to the core gameplay, and give us something like fucking FTL plus Star Fox, where every time you play it, it's going to be a little different, or you have a million choices of ways you want to go, and it'll make some kind of something out of every decision you make.
Exactly. That's the Star Fox game that I want.
It seems so simple conceptually to just bank on that idea.
Yeah, and it seems hypocritical of me to say that, like, I just want them to remake Star Fox 64, since I was just saying that it's incredibly conservative and kind of boring for them to do that with their other titles. But the thing is, also with Star Fox, is that we haven't had a Star Fox in, like, 2 generations. It's been a while.
You can't even really count, like, Assault and Adventures almost.
Yeah. Like, you can count Assault, but you shouldn't, because it's
you shouldn't. And so the last game before those, 64.
Yeah.
What was the DS one?
That was a remake of 64, wasn't it?
No, I think there was some aspects of it that were different.
Really?
Like, yeah, I think, like, what they did is you had some control over the other R-Wings, and you could, like, give them commands as to which targets to hit, kind of thing, which seemed pretty cool.
I've never played it, so I have no idea if that was good or not.
Yeah. I mean, I like the idea. If that's what... I mean, I could be wrong. I thought that's what... I know it's called Star Fox Command, and I thought I heard something about that on the second screen, you, like, basically issue orders to your other R-Wings. That's... Nintendo, good! Good, Nintendo, good! Expand on a concept. Cool. I like it. Please. Continue doing that. But then when you make the same thing, it's just kind of boring, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I wish I could go there and pitch them the thing I just said and hear why they would think that's a bad idea, because I honestly can't come up with any reasons.
Well, Link's got to have his hat. All right.
Yeah, that too. No, but I'm sure that the only reason is that
it scales,
it is
though.
Difficult.
You could very easily scale that, so you just cut down options and have multiple modes for different people who want different things out of the game.
Yeah.
They could cater to both audiences, they just choose not to.
Yeah. No, I mean, I agree. That's actually, when I was talking to Austin yesterday, that's the pretty much that's like the skeleton of the kind of Star Fox game that I was describing as like my perfect Star Fox thing, where you could still keep it on rails, but allow me to choose my own objectives. Like, I get like 3 or 4 options when I go to a place of like different missions that I can tackle, and the different missions have different like unlocks for me to get, that I could upgrade the Great Fox, or I could upgrade my R-Wing, or I could change designs on my R-Wing. I have this type of laser, or I have that type of laser. I have this type of bomb or something, or my R-Wing is heavy and tanky, or it's light and fast and shoots quickly. And,
for
stuff
God's
like
sake,
that.
Keep the exposition under 10 seconds for every level, please.
That too, yes. I don't care about the Star Fox story, because frankly,
We need you,
the first-
Star Fox.
yeah, exactly. Like, to be totally honest with you, Star Fox Super Nintendo was a like proof of concept, like technology prototype. That is all that game was, at least the start. When they first started making that, they were like, hey, can we get 3D working on Super Nintendo? And they did, and then they built a game around it. And that was cool. And then Star Fox 64 was like an actual game based on that basic premise, right? So like, and in both of those games, the story was super light. It was like, hey, Andros is fucking shit up. Go stop it. Boom, there you go. Get in, shoot some robots, and have fun. And
Every single like, in the middle of the level is just Star Fox. Like, you can count on me, sir.
There's a mistake where they kind of confuse category in that they think because they didn't have the amount of resources necessary to put in full cinematic whatever in the SNES or N64 era, that now that they have those tools that they must be utilized. And that's just wrong. It's a choice that you can make to embrace or not to. And that game doesn't make sense to add that to it just because you think it has a story to tell. I don't know that a lot of people appreciate that story. It's more about the core gameplay concept.
It is. It's entirely the core gameplay. The other like exposition, or just honestly like just the character dialogue, is just fun little things like Slippy sucks, and you know Pepe's this old guy who's gonna tell long stories, and Falco is just a douchebag, and that's fun. Like that's cool. Like I don't need to know anymore. Like I don't.
But it's
I don't
to
need
set
to
tone.
See, like yeah, right, exactly.
It's not to tell a story. It's to make you just go, "Hey, you're in the moment."
That's
it.
And
you know, think about it.
Star Fox
it
team,
works surprisingly well for how little was in that game. Like, it's really impressive how much, you know, not really story, but you know, atmosphere you got from the story out of just very short dialogue ticks. Like, it was done really well.
Well, it's to put personality to a bunch of generic geometric shapes that are moving around next to you.
Well, and that's the thing too, is it created that personality through those little dialogue like blurbs that they would say, and then you would get into the situation where Slippy gets captured or he falls to the planet or whatever. And
you mean every level?
Yeah, every single level.
But the specific ones, like that specific route where like Slippy gets captured by the lava monster and stuff, and you're like, ah, damn it, Slippy. Okay, I'll go over there. And but you know, you made that connection to the character where it's like, oh, you're a fucking asshole, Slippy, but all right, fine, and you go save him. But that's all. And then it was fun seeing something like the Star Wolf team that was like the Star Fox team, and then also Pigma is on it, who killed Fox's father or betrayed Fox's father years ago and stuff like that.
You apparently care about the story.
No. What I like about that is that's what I gathered from the little tiny blurbs in the story, and that's all I need. I don't need like a heavy-handed cutscene
loudly when he died.
I don't need a heavy-handed cutscene to see like how Falco is dealing with PTSD and has like alcoholism problems. Like I don't care. I don't care enough about those characters that I want to know those things. I just need the little blurb, you know.
Keep it real light, and you could even get an emotional appeal out of it without them having to go into that detail. If you made it to the end of the game and all of a sudden one of your dudes died through the game and by the ending he just doesn't exist anymore, that would be enough.
Yeah, well, Star Fox did that, actually, with Star Wolf. Like, if you do well on the first Star Wolf mission, you can actually not encounter them later in the game. If you kill a couple of them in the later of the game where the Star Wolf team appears again, those ones won't be there. So, actually, what's funny is
it works.
Yeah, right, exactly. In the canon of like Star Fox 64, the whole Star Wolf team does get killed.
Dude, I don't remember Star Fox 64 anymore. I have played it, I finished it, I don't remember it though.
It's real good. It's still fun.
Yeah,
like,
I'm sure it's fine.
Every couple of months.
I played it not this most recent PAX, but the PAX before I played it.
Mm-hmm.
It's still really fun.
It's still a fun game. Like, because the core principles, like the core mechanics of the game are fun. And then I don't know,
that's what Nintendo's so good at. Nintendo's real good at making fun. Like with every one of their games.
I didn't like the submarine or the tank sections. Could we not have that?
Submarine was in Assault. Oh no, actually no.
It
was in 64 because I never played Assault.
Yeah, but that was one of the branching things. Yeah, no, I hated the Landmaster and I think the boat was all right, but
the submarine was all right, but yeah, the Landmaster was just like
fly a plane.
Yeah, the Landmaster sections are still.
It's like I don't want to go in the direction that lets me play as those things, so I'll just avoid that.
The boss of the Landmaster level was real cool. But,
yeah. Yeah,
the whole level was obnoxious as fuck.
It sucked. It's like those things. Sometimes in video games, they do this weird thing where they're like, "Hey, let's take away one of the main aspects that you enjoy about this game in the mechanics and throw you in a level." Like, that's not fun. That feels like you're taking away power from the player instead of giving him power, and that's the only thing that you should do. You should only reward the player for his victories and his defeats. It should be like unless he like super monstrously fucks up, it doesn't need to be a harsh punishment, especially if your reward is going to the next level and then your reward is a punishment. You have to sit in a shitty Landmaster tank, you know? I don't know, man.
I don't like that.
Take the path that avoids that one.
And inevitably, they make you do it a ton of times because you keep replaying the same path over and over again. So just don't do that.
And you can lose Star Fox. Both games, Super Nintendo and N64, you can lose. You can be on the last level, run out of lives, you're done. Game's over. I have to start from the beginning.
Right, which is where I think there's a parallel with games like Gradius, because that's the same concept.
Yeah.
Are we going to call those roguelikes now?
They're like
because they have quote permadeath.
There are some elements of a roguelike involved.
No,
in
please.
Star Fox 64.
I was joking. Please.
There are a couple elements.
No, just back up.
The permadeath, the branching paths. You get a little bit of that.
A little bit of that.
Yeah.
Isaac like Star Fox game.
Oh my god.
Different items every time.
I'd be so into that. Are you
Collect
kidding?
them.
That would be really cool.
Over 100 bosses.
No, really,
randomly generated levels.
You get your Star Fox Amiibo, and then.
God, that's what it's gonna be. It's gonna be. Oh, that was the other thing. Is the Nintendo Direct was like, all right, so we showed you about 30 seconds of gameplay footage. Let's spend the next 3 minutes talking about these new Amiibos that we've just made.
I don't care. How popular they are. I don't care if you like them. They're fucking. You can have that in a game without having a fucking peripheral fucking. I hate them so much.
You say that, and then all of our friends are constantly tweeting about how many Amiibos they have.
I know.
Fuck them.
I know. Yeah.
Fuck your Amiibos. Fuck your stupid fucking toys, you 5-year-old. You're fucking. I hate you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
No,
Most of them are older than you.
Actually, that was something that we didn't talk about. You know what they unveiled, Nick? You probably didn't hear about this. They unveiled something new in the Nintendo Direct. So they don't have just Amiibos
Nintendo's
now.
selling mobile games. That's a thing.
Well, but they didn't talk about that at all. Although I wish they did. But
and they announced the code name for their next system, which we don't know if it's a handheld or.
Well, that wasn't
an Amiibo. It's a giant Amiibo, and you plug it into your.
It's a giant golden dong.
It's like an Amiibo costume, so you actually dress up like Mario, and it has motion sensors in all parts of the suit, and that's how you play the game.
Oh God.
No, but no, what they announced is Amiibo cards.
Oh, they're cards now. That's right.
Yeah, they're cards. So
just
you
to prove how fucking useless the Amiibos are. You don't even need. They're just fucking. I'm sorry.
I still can't get over the fact that it has flash memory in the Amiibos, but they only hold one game at a time.
You see that, all right? They're very small.
There's nothing to justify that makes sense.
You see, Nick, though. Wait.
It's probably a cost thing.
If it has 8 megabytes of memory in it, it can hold multiple games.
Yeah.
Also, they don't have to be tied to the actual statuette. It could have a code. The code is tied to a cloud. And if your argument is that you need to play them locally, then too bad. It's too late now. You've lost your chance. Nintendo doesn't care.
Nintendo has a DayZ game now on the Street Pass system.
Oh, that's right. What was that called? It was the name was.
I don't know. It's like Street Pass Zombie City or something.
Right. It was fucking the most generic thing.
Yeah. So that's a thing.
It had a Z in it. That's all I need to know.
I want a perfect Star Fox. That's what I want.
I just want a Star Fox.
Wait, why though cards?
Great question, Nick.
I'm very glad you were connecting on that now, Nick.
Yeah, no. Yeah, no. I don't know. Because. That's the reason, Nick. Because.
There's serial numbers, yes? That's all the point of this is, distributing serial numbers?
You touch them to your gamepad, and it works like an Amiibo. Except it's not an Amiibo; it's an Amiibo card.
But they made a fuss out of this NFC technology so you could tap things, but the thing has a camera in it, and you could read QR codes. So they immediately made their technology obsolete.
Well, I don't think they're going to do it through the QR codes, though. They're doing it through the tapping. You still
I
tap
know,
the card.
but there's no reason they couldn't have used the camera to make cards with QR codes and just avoided the whole thing.
Yeah, but at the same time, though, like I
Mario,
see why people wouldn't want to, like, you remember how awkward, like, trying to use the infrared sensor on Game Boys used to be, where you're trying to get it to work.
No, they've done it already. They did it on the DSi. There were these augmented reality cards that you would hold up, and it read them just fine.
No, I know.
It's Mario, all right. People.
They wanted They wanted it nice and easy for someone to just be able to tap it instead of lining up the card to thing.
It's a. I might insult a few people here, but I'm gonna do it. All right. It's just a fucking toy, and you're buying a toy. Sure, it does these things.
It's
in your
never
game,
not been a toy, Austin.
But it's literally a figurine that you're buying that does. It doesn't. It's just that's it. That's all. You can say
in an industry that is about toys.
Okay, to play the devil's advocate, there are, in the gaming community, there is a subculture of people that really love collecting figurines.
And this isn't fine, but they don't need they're marketed as fucking peripherals, all right? If you want to make figurines, make some fucking figurines.
But here's the thing. They're doing a cross-marketing thing, right? Where they're hitting the demographic of the subculture of people that like figurines, and then they're also hitting the demographic of people who just like playing video games. And they're basically creating a new market of where those people mix, because people who would previously have not really been that into the idea of figurines, but maybe on the fence of like, oh, it'd be cool to have one or two, those people would be like, okay, now I have a figurine that actually does something rather than just sits there and looks pretty. So I think that's the strategy with the Amiibo.
I get that, but when you spend 10 minutes of your Nintendo Direct on that,
yeah, I know it's boring. It's bullshit. Yeah,
that's what their real priority is, though. They just want to move away from anything to do with video games and just make it all about. Can we just sell you some fucking trading cards?
We just sell you things. They just want to sell you things.
That's what Nintendo started as. They made playing cards.
That's true.
And calculators, if I remember.
I don't know.
Yeah, it was, it's one of those Japanese companies that have been around for a long time. They did everything.
Probably sold cigarettes at one point.
You should.
They did love hotels.
Yeah.
How much? Let's comment section. How much you guys discuss what we were talking about? How much do you hate us? Right? Like.
Yeah. Firstly, actually, yeah. Let's go into the.
We're very cynical.
Comments. We are.
Well, there was the one guy that said it was too cynical.
I had to be this episode. That Nintendo Direct, it got to me, man. It got to me. I had to. But we're done now. Now we can hate Nintendo another day, probably Monday. But look.
Did you have one particular comment you wanted to speak on, Rob?
I'm looking through them now.
I'll look through you now.
You have quite a few things. Okay, so
there's one that had like a list of games that were from 2014 that they said were like from 2015, I think. That one kind of confused me. Or am I thinking of the last episode?
No. This is right. I'm reading it right now. And push sales list they released this year already.
This year meaning 2015.
Yeah, no, they didn't release any of these in 2015. Mario Party 10, they did.
Oh, that game's bad.
2015. Apparently, it's very bad, is what I'm told. Splatoon, yes. But out of your list, those are the only ones that are coming out this year. The rest of them, and also, I mean, are people really counting Wind Waker HD? Like, I know that they priced it like it was a game that just got released, but straight up, minus the HDR and bloom that's in Wind Waker HD, you could play that very same game in Dolphin. Like, you could play a higher resolution. I mean, I think it is.
We're talking about consumer solutions through the actual licensor of that property, not how you can figure out to, subvert it.
No, it's not subverted. That's what they did with HD, is they made an HD version of Wind Waker. And you could already do that with Dolphin. You could already have an HD Wind Waker.
I'm just talking about things that are available through Nintendo.
All right, fair enough, but still, I mean, at the same time, you really count Wind Waker HD as one of their new releases of 2014? I mean, why is that?
It doesn't count. I mean, it doesn't.
Do you also count all the other Virtual Console that they did? Because if that's true, then they've been releasing like hundreds of games every year, but just putting on the Virtual Consoles of games that they made over the past 20 years. I mean, like, I don't think you can really count something like that. But okay, the other stuff, yes, was last year.
Maybe they just meant to say in the last year, not in last year.
Well...
Or in this year, I mean, rather.
It's pretty clear. It says, let's look at what they've released this year already.
Oh.
No, I think Wind Waker HD was actually a year removed from that.
I thought too.
Wind Waker HD was last year.
Yeah. Oh, it was last year. Okay.
Yes.
Oh.
All right, but yeah, no, and to what you were saying last year or last episode, you were just talking about what kind of catalog they have coming up for 2015, and your point still stands. I mean, yeah, Splatoon. That's it.
If we could revisit the point that I was even trying to make, it was that Nintendo were kind of doing a bait and switch with titles that were coming up in order to sell consoles on the idea of what their catalog would be.
Yes.
So to say it was going to be something, sell those consoles on that idea, then push it back seems... I don't know what the right word is to use for that.
And the operative thing about that statement is they knew that they couldn't release Zelda in 2015.
We're saying
and that's why you made that comment.
Important, yes.
And yeah, to a lesser degree, though, to a lesser degree than you, I still though agree that yes, they released footage to generate hype to sell systems, and they were not planning on coming out with that game, and we knew that. But they
and is that hard to believe? If you work for that company, why wouldn't you do that?
Yeah, right.
Aside from worrying about goodwill, which is the thing you would hope they would do, but we get that people don't do that anymore.
Yeah,
I wouldn't. It's not something I get too necessarily mad about. Like it's scummy, but. It was expected by a lot of people. It was expected by both of you. I mean,
yeah.
And you guys weren't alone. Like I was on Twitter that day. Like I said, a lot of people were like, "Oh, who didn't see this coming?" You know, right? Like everyone.
Yeah. So shouldn't that be a bigger case for why they're kind of dicks for having done that?
I think it was just a matter of acceptance. People just didn't care.
Yeah, I mean, like I'm still happy to know that they're developing.
Yeah,
Zelda. They set a very unrealistic
we shit on Nintendo so much, but we also need to admit that Nintendo, at least for me and Rob, Nintendo has us by the fucking balls.
Yeah, I
has
love
what
Nintendo
by the
my
balls?
entire life.
Us, our money.
Yeah,
we will
Not
still
at
buy
all for
Nintendo
me.
things,
Yeah.
at least for the near future.
I've mostly got my Wii U for Bayonetta 2.
Yeah, well, that's what I was just saying. Me and Rob, like.
This was something actually that I wanted to comment on, because last episode people were very upset about Big Hero 6 because they really like Big Hero 6, and people were saying that, like, no, it was set in San Francisco, so it was obviously Japanese. If anything, it had nothing to do with China. Okay. Let me...
Okay.
I mean, that could just be a mistake. I don't know why that's a big deal.
Well, but here's the thing. Yes, it was set in a infused American Asian world is what I'm trying to get at. And in Asia, the biggest movie market is China. And guess what? In China, Big Hero 6 is one of the most popular movies ever. It's actually about to beat, or I think it did become the most popular film that has been sold in China, beating Frozen. So, or at least it's nearing that. So my point stands. They made it to appeal to Chinese audiences. It doesn't matter whether it's set in a Japanese world or a Japanese-inspired world. It is designed in that way to appeal to that market, which they learned was a burgeoning market, and that's I mean, that doesn't I don't know why there's an argument there.
All the evidence just pointed it to being directly Japanese, to me.
But it doesn't. But Nick, that doesn't matter though. That's the aspect that people, and perhaps you right now, are not understanding. Whether or not it's set in a world inspired by Japan or something, it is designed to hit a Chinese market because China is the biggest market there for cinema, especially in these animation films, and that was the decision there. I mean, Kung Fu Panda did very well in China as well. This is a thing that's on the rise, and that's what I'm saying, is they marketed it specifically to hit that market, which is a huge demographic for them.
It's happening all over. I mean, in movies, games.
I mean, it doesn't really matter, honestly.
I know, but that's what people were very angry with me because they were saying like, oh, it's obviously marketed towards Japan, not China. It's like, no.
I would have just said an Asian market though, instead of specifically China. It's
I did. Well, yeah, but that's what I said. It's for the Asian market, but it is specifically for China. They wanted to hit that market the hardest because that is the biggest market. It's just fucking business. I don't know why people were so mad about this. Like it literally is just, that's what businesses do. They hit markets. Like I don't
think anyone was really mad. I think it was just a misunderstanding.
I don't know, Rob. You are full of shit on the China thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I didn't read that one.
So I don't know if I
didn't read that one.
Weren't actually mad. Here we go. Big Hero 6 was definitely in all caps not for a Chinese audience. The characters have Japanese names, and the city is blatantly a mix of Tokyo and San Francisco.
Rob, you are full of shit.
People were really mad. And
okay, so then why do people jump to conclusions and start calling people names instead of just ask for clarification? That's really weird to me.
And on top of that, without actually looking at the fucking numbers too, because it is one of the most. It's close to beating that. So like why, like what? I don't understand where, if you guys are gonna yell at me and call me names,
I was
while also not while having imperfect knowledge, it seems a bit silly.
It's all good. We'll all forgive each other. It's not. We don't really need to be upset. This is a peaceful place. I know we were very cynical and we sound salty sometimes, but at the end of the day, we're just having discussions, and we still like you.
Honest. Rob is shit all the time.
Well,
I am full of shit a lot of the time.
Every now and then, we're all full of shit on things. That's the
true.
thing.
That's everyone has to realize.
And the other thing that people don't realize is when it's three people discussing something, it's against literally everyone in the universe that can hear us with their own specified knowledge of all the things that they know versus all the things we know, right? So you have all the time to rebut anything we say, and we only have this little block of the window to talk to you. So
basically, we're all just full of shit.
We are.
Yeah.
Well, honestly, yeah. I mean, this is all just like subjective opinions.
It's all subjective opinions, and there's a lot of things I don't know about. A ton of things.
Yeah, we don't sit in like the objective booth of things. We just say this is how we feel about things. It's magic.
And we try to call each other out when it's necessary. As I think we do anyway.
Yeah.
We also could be misguided sometimes.
Yeah. And then also there are some people saying like Half-Life 3 is going to be crap, and that's
just another subjective opinion though. So
yeah,
you know, well,
that's true too. But yeah, I mean, I think that's a fair prophecy to make though. It could be, it could well be.
I think it's probably going to be okay.
Valve has made a couple good things.
I think it'll be pretty average.
What? I missed it all.
I think ultimately it'll probably be pretty average, would be my guess. I think it'll probably make a big splash. The hype will make it sound a lot better than it is, but then at the end of the day, when the dust settles, we'll go, that was fine.
If they do the thing that I said, though, then people are going to flip shit.
If they do the thing you said, the implications are much greater than the game of Half-Life 3, so it'll be very hard to separate the game from the movement.
And I think that might be a strategy, yeah.
And maybe they want to obfuscate the game with the movement, so they can't necessarily hold one accountable.
Mm-hmm.
That's a really cynical way to look at it, isn't it? That's already precluding the game's shitty, and they're using something else to make it better.
Well, I don't think the game necessarily has to be shitty, but I mean, like, the question is, you know what? Half-Life is an example of one of those pure first-person shooters for the most part. I mean, Half-Life 2, yes, they added the physics element, so it's a little bit less pure in that way. But I mean, for the most part, it's like a pure first-person shooter. Like, where can they really go with that series?
The first one was hybridized with platforming, and it was narrative-driven, which also kind of differentiates a little.
Always, they've had platforming.
No, pure first-person shooter implies something like Serious Sam or Doom, where it's literally just like an arcade game. Start at one point, go to another, kill stuff along the way.
I would say a pure first-person shooter would still fall under the category of something like a Call of Duty 2.
I would say that's like a cinematic narrative-driven first-person shooter. See? Arguing about genres is very important business and will result in a lot of positive change to the industry.
It sounds like it, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully Half-Life 3 is good. Hopefully Left 4 Dead 3 is good, because I didn't really like the first two.
What do you think is going to be good about another Left 4 Dead game? What could change?
They could change things. That game has room for improvement.
The core gameplay is just fine, though. It's just about the people you're playing with.
The core gameplay is fine, but it could have some genre mixing a little bit more, like more RPG elements, say, and maybe an expansion on the competitive versus mode, asymmetrical multiplayer. That would be cool.
The problem with adding the RPG elements, then it ends up like kind of muddled, because then you want to play a quick pickup game and everyone's got different stats and shit.
Could be, but
it's supposed to be balanced.
Yeah, but you could also do it in a way that isn't that doesn't like make a level 20 character be able to beat a level 1 character like hands down or anything.
Let's be honest, it would end up like Evolve, and they would probably have 100 pieces of DLC.
Yeah, Is it still Turtle Rock doing on the Left 4 Dead, or did all of them move over?
They were them. I don't know if they are now if they go forward.
Yeah.
Have they announced they're doing Left 4 Dead 3?
Oh no, it's just
okay,
it's just files in the code, so but I mean the files are in the code, so it's at least in a preliminary stage of development. At worst, it'll never come out, but at least you know that they are actually looking at making it. So
I would be surprised if they weren't looking at making it. So that's fine. Sure.
Yeah, totally. And honestly, like when their VR comes out, it definitely would be an experience that would be interesting to see in VR.
Dude, people are gonna get whiplash though.
Yeah, that'd
For
be
real.
Fucking terrifying. Those zombies in Left 4 Dead, they run at you and they they're the rage zombies from 28 Days Later. So like they'll just beat the shit out of you. Imagine how terrifying that would be. That might cause like anxiety attacks in people.
But for real though, people will get PTSD and whiplash from turning their heads around so quickly to like see a thing chasing them. That would freak me out. Yeah. I'd be worried about people injuring themselves playing the game.
The games are scary enough already.
Possible. Yeah. Left 4 Dead would be a good game for VR.
They would have to slow it way the fuck down. That game is fast even for me as a very seasoned first-person shooter player.
Yeah, I don't know. They probably wouldn't, but they maybe
You wouldn't be able to move your head fast enough to see everything.
They do kind of be pretty... I mean, maybe they design the game with that in mind. I don't know.
How do you look directly behind you?
Yeah, I don't know.
You rotate your office chair?
Yeah, right. And the control. Yeah.
You can just spin around.
Just spinning around with your wireless fucking Morpheus headset or whatever.
I don't think that would actually even work. Actually, because
the head tracking is based on a point of zero origin, right? So then after you get to a point, it would snap back around.
Probably, yeah. I don't. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about, honestly.
I don't think. Yeah.
Yeah. So it would. Yeah. That would be a scary game to play in
I
VR.
can think of a lot of games that aren't necessarily scary that would be scary on VR.
Yeah.
It would make a big difference to the potential for Silent Hill games, I'll tell you that much.
Oh my god, nope. There's a thing that I'm never doing in the history of the world. It's play Silent Hill
I'll do it.
on VR.
Maybe once VR comes out, Nick, we'll finally get a game that will actually scare you.
Whoa.
I'd give it a shot. I don't care. I have nothing to lose.
That'd be interesting.
I have my current pair of pants to lose on that, so...
I'm already afraid of scary games. There is no chance of playing a VR scary game.
I think Rob's kind of on a similar page. I don't know on what severity, but
well,
literally cannot play scary games.
Yeah,
I can't do it.
Okay, so I think the thing I'm actually a little worried about, though, is if it does actually breach that point that does scare me, will I then be actually traumatized at that point and maybe never want to put myself back in that position again?
Dude, like, straight up, when I've played scary games that have actually scared me, it's like, all right, well, you know, I paid my money, I got my experience. It was, let me check on Steam here, yeah, 15 minutes, and that's good. That's good for me. That's,
Dude, fucking
don't need to do anything.
for the PC. Carnival of Terror. That game fucking scared me.
Oh, that game's creepy, though.
Yeah, it is.
That game's real creepy.
There was that weird sewer section with the monster that made no sense.
What are you
Yeah.
talking about?
You didn't play Goosebumps for the PC?
No.
Oh, it's so fun, actually.
Have you played Kiss Psycho Circus?
No.
That game's fucking awesome. You should play. I did a Let's Play on it, played through the whole thing.
Scary games.
It's a first-person shooter about Kiss.
I gathered, yeah. That's pretty hilarious.
You play as the Star Child. No, you play as all of them, actually. All 4 of them have different abilities, and you go through each one has their own part of the world.
That's amazing.
Maybe one day I'll play that game.
Good luck finding it.
Won't play a Silent Hill in VR, though. Imagine fucking PT. That game.
That game is fucking stupid.
It
Sorry,
is.
I mean that
but
tech
it's scary.
demo is fucking stupid, not the game.
The tech demo was stupid, yeah.
It was stupid, but
Wait, go to the phone!
Well, wasn't actually news...
No, we got a bad experience for that, though, originally. When we first saw it, we were watching that one guy who was just like...
No, wait.
You
Go to the
straight up
door.
moron.
Go to the phone. Go to the door.
Stare
Go
at
to
the
the
phone.
door, then go to the phone.
Go
then
to the
go back
baby.
the
Closer
phone.
at the phone. Are you
Stop. Look at the phone for
Look at
30
the phone
seconds, turn away, then go back to the phone. That guy
Listen
was...
for the chime.
Where's the? Okay, have we looked,
Check
let's
the
look at
window. Have you checked the
Look back at
window?
phone. What about the picture? The phone. It's gotta be the phone.
That guy was the great. I hope that there's a VOD of that somewhere.
I
Because
actually
need
really
to
want to find it because once this is lost, it'll never come back again. We'll never be
That's-
able to share this experience we had.
You're
Look at-
right. It was
look at the
so good.
Look at the
That
phone.
was the most. But you need the chat too, because the chat was great. Because they were just trolling him the whole time.
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
Like he was
And
even
that was-
reading the chat.
That's true.
I
He
think
was-
He was more
because-
interested in the phone, to be honest.
He was kind of brain dead.
He was. He was not a very good streamer, but it was really funny.
What?
But,
it was
um,
on behalf of some group, though, right? It was like an IGN thing, or
Yeah, I think it was.
or something
It
like.
was like game trailers or something. Yeah, it was real funny.
No offense to game trailers, if it was actually
I
not.
don't think it was game trailers.
It was one of those.
It was something like that
It was
though.
one of
It was one of those editorial sites.
It might have been like GameSpot or something. I don't know.
Maybe.
I'd
I don't
believe
know.
it was GameSpot.
Yeah, that's
Let's
pretty
look at
funny. Yeah.
let's all look at the phone.
Isn't actually in like a side news portion there. Isn't Kojima not
Yeah, he
attached to
left.
it anymore? He left.
That's
Took
a
his
whole
name
other-
off.
Fucking.
Yeah.
That's a can of eggs.
Yeah, it's a
Do you buy
can. of
canned
eggs.
eggs?
It's a can of eggs.
Hey man, Texas is weird.
I'd be surprised if you guys didn't have bags of eggs. Like a
That
crinkly
would be
fucking
the
bag of
worst
Like a
eggs.
potato bag, but it's full of
Yeah.
eggs.
Just full of eggs.
I'm sure transporting that in trucks would be super easy to do.
Can you imagine you had like
Bags of eggs.
50 eggs in a burlap sack and you run up to someone and just whale them with it? What would happen?
I don't know why Donald Duck.
I don't think the eggs would immediately go through.
I don't know, but I want to know what would happen physics-wise in that whole thing. Because the eggs smashing each other up against the person, it might feel really weird.
Yeah, you would. Okay, here's what I would guess: is you would knock them down. They would be on the ground, flabbergasted at the event that has just transpired, and then they'd be thinking in their head, "Was that eggs?" And then you'd be standing over
And you don't
them.
tell them!
You'd
You
be,
just
you'd be
run
standing
away!
over them with a burlap sack that is slowly darkening, and egg yolk just starts like dripping off the bag.
And you're
No,
like,
no, no.
that was eggs.
As soon as you hit them, they're on the ground, you take off. And then they follow you. Eventually they find the trail.
Yeah,
And they just follow the trail, which gets bigger and bigger as you run.
Yeah.
I want a movie to start like this. Can you be the director of that movie,
I'll,
Rob?
yeah, I'll write it right now. I have Movie Magic screenwriter.
I was reading about your screenplay, actually, yeah. The alien one.
The
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. You have to.
I don't-
didn't they?
Can you
No,
just...
no, they didn't. But I'm actually not sure if Nick is still continuing with the joke or if he's saying
that's a
something
whole other
that actually, yeah.
That's a whole other burlap sack.
So just add the burlap sack to the alien story, and we'll be good.
Okay, I will do
There's
that.
room for that.
To the best of my ability. But
It'll
it's
be a
also been
mystery.
an hour and a half, so we should probably end this episode
Yeah,
of Magic.
Let's go.
You.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Mondays and Fridays, except we didn't do this Friday.
Mondays and Fridays and sometimes Saturdays.
Definitely Mondays, sometimes Fridays. How about that?
Yeah.
Actually,
Right.
maybe Mondays, also probably not Fridays. I don't know.
Maybe.
At some point, there'll be Magic.
Yeah,
guys
Magic
get
is
your
going to
Magic.
come out, and then you'll watch it.
Yeah.
Or you won't. But if you've gotten to this point, then you have. In which case, you should say in the comments, burlap sap filled...
Yes, that.
All right,
Just
say
that.
what that
Just
was.
say
Type that in there.
Just type that in there.
Burlap, pat, sat, nat.
Just don't, no, that's it. We're done.
There you go. And then we'll know that you made it to the end. So thanks for watching, everybody. Mondays and Fridays. Come back.
I love you.